Welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. Hope you're all doing okay. So I've managed to get another interview for you. Now, you probably will recognize the guy from the title, of course, but you'll know the guy from, if you are an older EVE Online player, you remember him from his live streams, which we do talk about in the interview, which is an old era of EVE Online, which I think a lot of people do miss the simpler times of EVE Online. And I managed to get hold of and have some time with Bjorn Bee, or CCP Bee. And I really do appreciate him spending the time to talk to me. And we actually ended up having absolutely an amazing chat about EVE. And this is what I really enjoy about doing these interviews. So whether it's with alliance leaders, fleet commanders of big alliances, smaller groups, you actually get a really good insight into these alliances or these groups, or, you know, these heads of these massive parts of EVE Online, and you get a real good insight onto what that person's like, what they enjoy in EVE. And I think Bjorn's story here is actually really, really good. There was an issue, there was a technical issue, which is why at the start of the video I opened with saying take two, because we got halfway through the interview and then my stream software completely died and it corrupted the file. So unfortunately we had to start again. So it was like half an hour completely down the pan. But I hope you enjoy this one, guys. And I'm looking forward to. I'm doing another interview tonight, and this interview will be out next week. So I hope you enjoy this one, and I hope you're looking forward to the next one, guys. And let's get this rolling. Take two. Could you introduce yourself for the viewers for me, please?
Yes, my name is Bjorn. I was known as Bjorn Bee, but I'm currently known as CCP Bee.
Perfect. We'll get round to the old CCP Bee transition shortly. When did you first start playing EVE Online?
So, people ask me this. I always have a very long wind. I'm Icelandic, so I knew EVE existed. I tried it out a few times in the early to late 2000s, and it never really clicked with me. I don't know what it was, something about the game. I never understood what the game was about. Maybe I was just too young and I was too addicted to things like Counter-Strike and other things. But then I started playing it again in 2012 with one of my real friends, who is still playing today with me in my corp. And something around 2012, 2013 is EVE really clicked for me. I'd been living up in Fountain. I think I was flying with Test back then. We ended up going down into Delve, then down into period bases. There were some intermittent breaks that I took, and one time I came back to the game living in period bases, and I was surrounded by Russians and Germans, and I was like, I don't speak Russian, but I do speak German, so I ended up in some German corp. It still hadn't really clicked with me, so I ended up going to back to Delph to live in NPC Delph, and I ran into a group there called Pizza, Confederation of Pizza, and they ended up taking me in, and that's when EVE properly clicked for me. I was in fights with them where I went, oh, this is what the game is. It's about being fewer numbers, fighting a much bigger group, winning fights and kicking ass, and that's when it started, like I say, clicking for me.
Yeah, I think EVE is definitely 100% one of those games where you will get the best enjoyment out of it if you get with a good group that actually know what they're doing. Not just know what they're doing, but always, communicating, going out doing stuff, finding trouble to get into, and all that sort of stuff.
And they were so devious too. There was something about how I remember one day we needed to fund some bomber alts of one of our dudes, so we ended up going to high sec and just ganking people, but they didn't do it in just a normal way. They would put up a courier contract from one place to another, limited time and a really and then we would gank that target, and I was like, dude, this is so nasty. We would single someone out like this.
Huge collateral contracts, and when they accept it, they realize, and they see inside the courier contract, this is just giant freight containers. But they give it a go because I want my collateral back, but they're never gonna get it.
Stuff like that, where I was like, this this game is far more devious than I thought it could be.
Yeah,
It was also just being anchored in like caracal fleets after the rapid lights came out in like 2013-14, and just seeing how good they were at fighting that like outnumbered bomber fleets and stuff like that.
yeah,
I was like, God damn, this is what the game is about for me.
yeah, definitely. So what actually drew you to the game, apart from it being an Icelandic company with an Icelandic, game?
If I think back to what drew me back to it in 2012, I think I remember hearing something about exploration, and I read something about probing in the game. I was like, what? What do you mean probing? And it went into depth about how you had to use these probes to triangulate the target's location in 3D space. And I was like, what the fuck? That means that there's a game out there where someone can hide somewhere in like a huge 3D area, but I can't see them. But I can use these probes to like triangulate them.
Yeah.
And that like blew my mind. I was like, okay, I need to see what that's about. And that actually led me into exploration and really good ways of making money early on.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like what at first caught my attention. I was like, I didn't know something you could do in this Eve game. But then what got me stuck in Eve was the PvP for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about being with groups and stuff like that, isn't it?
Or solo and small gang. Like, it doesn't have to be the big groups.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying you should join one of the massive groups, like you know, but there are some extremely like high efficiency small groups out there that probably actually have more fun than the bigger groups, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, what was your favorite memory in Eve as a player?
I have many favorite memories, and that's because they're all of different like eras of me learning the game, I guess.
Yeah.
When I think of favorite memory, I'm always remember solo PvP fight that I won, because I'd been trying out solo PvPing. I was watching people's videos, and I wanted to understand. I'd been on grids where like one dude shows up and just that were in my group, and I'm like, how the fuck is that? How did he just alone kill the 10 of us and then just moonwalk? Like, how is that possible? And something about that kind of drew me in. I wanted to learn and understand how to do that. And I would only fly the Vexer because I thought Galente was the best race in the game.
Yeah.
And I was very wrong, but I absolutely loved the Vexer. And I would have enough money from exploration, and I could do Vexer roams and pay for my clone, which I had to do at the time.
Yeah.
And there was this one fight. I remember I was down in Period Base, living in Hicks, and I'd seen on like Intel that 3 Tech 1 destroyers were coming down. I was like, okay, this is the day. I'm gonna go fuck them up. And I remember undocking, and I could still see the grid and this feeling that I had when I killed 2 of them, and the last guy just runs away. And I was like, holy fuck, I did it. I won a fight, outnumbered.
Yeah, that feeling.
I've just been chasing that high ever since, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Thing is, like when you first, as you say, when you win your first fight, and you get that feeling, because when you're going into an engagement like that, your heart's pumping.
Oh
yeah. I don't know about you, but I every so often I'll take a Loki or a Proteus into a gang, and I'll be like, my heart will be pumping, my fingertips will be tingling. I'll be like, this could go really wrong. But then when you actually win, and you're like, holy shit, I'm not running away this time. I'm not losing a shit. What the hell?
Yep. I absolutely had those shakes at the start as well. Over the years, they disappeared.
Yeah.
I, of course, streamed solo and small gang and fleets for like 7 years. And at some point, you care less and less about the ships you're flying, because you end up like stupidly rich in the game and have enough assets that you're just like,
it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
That doesn't really matter if this Cinnable dies. I have 48 more in like. So I kind of do miss that part.
Yeah.
The shakes and the really caring about not losing. Of course, I don't want to. But now it's more about honor, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to just like back down from a fight just because.
No. There's also like other core memories of the game. Definitely many of them linked to streaming the game. My first solo carrier, solo dread, my first solo Rorqual roams, and just really good fights that I got through doing those type of shenanigans.
Yeah,
those were
just for those people that haven't that may be thinking, what the hell is he taking a solo dread or a solo Rorqual out on a roam? Basically, what Bjorn used to do is he would get a dreadnought or Rorqual to a insane speed and then hit siege. And back then, it didn't matter what speed you're at, it would go in siege and you would hold that speed. And no matter,
it still works today. When you siege, it ends up just carrying that mass through the siege cycle itself.
I thought there had to be like at a certain speed before you can actually hit the button.
No, it happens with any. It's just the siege module or the industrial core. It increases the mass of your ship. It's something that a guy called Big Miker invented, and I then took up his cool invention and just streamed a shitload of it.
Well,
he's
we'll
a really
definitely dig out his video about that one and drop that
Please
below.
do.
It's a phenomenal thing to see.
I think it was Furious 7 or something that came out.
Yeah, well, I'll
Might
find
be
that one.
misremembering.
I'll find that one.
But he did this thing where he would roam around, or he would start a video, sino into like brave space in a Nagelfar, get himself up to speed, then siege for a 5-minute cycle. And as everyone tried to tackle him, he would just continue moving because he's not micro warp driving. He's drifting through space. And he would then, web the target so it ends up behind him, and then he just pops them as he like glides along. And you can do that in all kinds of different things. It's not really a super tactical thing to do on a big scale, although I'm sure you can do cool stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I wonder if the Sathriel would be any good at that, but I don't know. I've only seen a few of them actually being used in the way that they're meant to be used at the minute. I see them dying in wormholes, but
that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. I was like, damn, this would be a cool drifting dread. Because you can get really fast in it.
Oh god, yeah.
And the faster you get at the start, the longer the faster you're gonna drift, of course.
Yeah. I think if you do stream again, I think you need to try it.
Yeah.
I think you need to try that one.
I used to do a lot of these capitals. I had like a Thanatos Thursday. Like they would just do every Thursday. I would fly a Thanatos, and I would do like a Moros Monday thing. I just fly Moros. Like I was trying to entertain myself and the stream, but they were also publicity stunts that I knew were expensive. But I also knew that they were returning a lot of viewers to my stream because they'd go, "Oh damn, it's Thursday. I bet Bjorn's gonna do something crazy."
Yeah.
And it really worked in growing the stream, making cool videos out of them, and just having with the type of engagements you end up in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because for those also that don't know, if you are relatively new to EVE Online, Bjorn used to stream EVE Online for many years, and he was right at the top of the EVE streamers back then. I think there was you and Lucy Lou. You were the top ones, weren't you?
Zarvox.
And Zarvox, and Zarvox. They're the very top of the streaming game. And that's when a lot of people were just starting out streaming. EVE actually didn't have that many streamers, say, go back 10 years. Not even that. I would say about 6-7 years. If you go back, there was not that many people streaming EVE.
No, it's a difficult game to stream, and it's a game that I even wondered if it was streamable. And so I started streaming in 2015-ish, and I would stream other things, and then my guilty pleasure would be doing afterward. And then one day I thought, I wonder if this thing that I enjoy playing, if it's streamable. And I tuned into Twitch, and I saw that Zarvox was doing some solo PvP. And I was like, if he can do this, then I can do it.
Yeah.
So I started testing it out. I was a little apprehensive at the start, taking my, I don't know, like 40, 50, 60 viewers, and I go, I'm going to try and stream this thing called EVE now. And I had no idea if they would like it. But it really didn't matter, because as soon as I started streaming EVE, the streaming community kind of just accepted me immediately.
Yeah.
Very quickly rocking like 200 viewers. and that really made me think, there might be a future here. And it actually led to me streaming the game for a living for 7 years.
Bloody hell, that.
And working closely with CCP.
Yeah.
They would invite me to come do things like stream at FanFest and stream at Vegas and do all kinds of other like fleets and stuff with them.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a long journey. It was many years of grinding and
Yeah.
the whole journey, the whole way.
So just coming on to that now, as obviously you were streaming Eve, it's a game that you thoroughly loved and enjoyed for many years. Still do. So what was it like when you actually started going from just streaming and playing Eve to actually working on the game as well?
It was definitely a big change. So my streaming career, so to speak, was 4 years in Iceland and then 3 years in Spain. I decided to move into Spain in 2019, and I was gonna just live on the beach and have fun and stream from my apartment and just have a great time. And then COVID hit, and I was like, what the fuck? This was
shit.
Exactly. So I had a couple of not so awesome years in Spain. Although I enjoyed that I was streaming for a living, but my life there wasn't what I wanted it to be.
No.
Visit as much or at all during COVID, of course. And in 2022, something was drawing me back to Iceland, so I decided to just move back after. And then I landed in the summer of 22 in Iceland, and I'm like, okay, do I continue streaming here? Do I get him a new apartment here? What do I want to do? And I actually reached out to a CCPer that I know, and I sent him a message on Discord. Hey, I've moved back to Iceland, and I was wondering if I'd come for an interview. And he's like, yeah, sure, come tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, that was
quick,
easier than I thought. So I go there, and they're very keen on taking me on as a community dev. Of course, having worked with me at different events, and they kind of felt like they knew me, they knew my work ethic. And it's been the best decision I've ever made. So they just basically hired me the couple of interviews later, just the next week. In fact, my now boss, CCP Swift, congratulated me much earlier than he should have. I think after that first interview, he goes, Bjorn, I can't wait to work with you, bro. Like, congrats. I was like, dude, they haven't hired me yet. He's like, oh, fuck, forget that I said anything. And the team I'm on is fucking awesome. I work with CCP Swift, CCP Convict, CCP Jotun, CCP Lumi. We have CCP Zealous on the team. We have a couple other people, CCP Degent, who you probably don't know. He's a more frontier-focused guy. CCP Quartz, who is more of a Vanguard-focused guy. But the team I'm on is fucking awesome. We have like lots of tasks that we do as community devs, but we also kind of split them up into things that we focus on more. I focus mostly on patch notes every day. I make sure that the different groups that, you know, put in different patch notes that players will understand what they're saying.
It's not like it's not spelt wrong, or there's not, you know, it's not phrased incorrectly, or where to the point.
It's also just like, would an Eve player really understand what that, and wording it, sometimes changing some of the words.
Yeah,
but that's just like a regular daily task that I usually do.
Yeah.
But I mostly focus on the partner program, and which has been really rewarding. Mm-hmm. So we have, I don't know how many partners now. It's like somewhere 250 to 300 or something. And it's like third-party devs, it's video creators, it's streamers, it's bloggers, it's such a like wide variety of types of players.
I had no idea there was that many.
It's a fucking shitload of people. And I think at FanFest we had like 40 of them show up.
Yeah, I saw quite a few of them there.
Yeah. So there's a ton of partners, and one of the most rewarding parts of this job has been to get them more income streams. Mm-hmm. Because I know what it's like to stream for a living and to try and make your passion into something that pays the bills, right? You have to, everyone needs food and a roof over there. Yeah.
And let's be honest, Twitch ad revenue is not going to pay your bills.
No, I mean, depends on how big you are, but
well, yeah, true. I mean, yeah, I suppose it could. If you got like tens of thousands of viewers, it could be really, really, really lucrative. But yeah.
Yes, and just streaming in general, like you take a break for because you want to go on holiday, and suddenly you're like, oh fuck, all my, all my Twitch primes have disappeared, and my next paycheck is gonna be way low.
Yeah.
It feels like a constant grind it can wear on you. So getting different income, big push. So, excuse me, we have things called the revenue share program now, where people and partners can have like a revenue code on the EVE Online store.
Oh yeah, that's their partner code or creator code, is it, that they're using checking out on the Plex store and stuff.
Another big win was getting Twitch drops finally added, because I knew that was going to be huge for some people.
Yeah, definitely.
It has been. Like, I'm not going to name a certain person's, but people are reaching out after it and going, Bjorn, I just seven-folded my income revenue because of drops.
Yeah.
And like those type of messages make me really happy. Make that big jump. Like, it's easy when you're like just taking care of yourself as a streamer, but if you have a wife and kids and a home and like real bills to take care of, but you still feel confident that you can do this thing that you love for a living, like that felt really huge to get people like that to make the jump to do this as a living.
Yeah, definitely.
That's been a big drive for me.
Well, you've been there, haven't you? You've gone through that sort of phase in your life where you were doing it for a living. So, as you say, you know what it's like. So you have a good idea of what can work and what probably won't work.
Yep. And it's this like plateau that you need to get to viewership wise that you start getting these promotional deals from other companies and seeing our streamers like dip their toes into streaming like a promotional game for something else. I think it's fantastic because I know they're making bank and they're bringing more viewers back to EVE, and it's just like this perfect oiled machine of people, just enjoying and living and doing what they like.
Sorry, my phone just started ringing then. I forgot to put that on silent.
No problem. I don't think I put mine on silent, but no one calls me.
So many times I've like recorded a video and then you just hear like a notification. You're like, oh, right, I'll just do that bit again.
As long as it's not a Discord notification.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So sorry, just to continue, like there's so many other things we do in the community. We do. We of course have a huge hand in planning FanFest. I personally do a lot of like the stream planning and the FanFest LAN. We take care of the CSM. We take care of like a lot of the Alliance tournament stuff. If not all of it, mostly CCP Salus is focused on that.
Yeah.
And we have our weekly stream. We do Live to Feed every Friday, or we try to at least.
You get the big blocks dropping capitals on you.
Yeah. But we have fun doing it anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got it, haven't you?
Yeah. But then there's like there's something that most people don't know which is called a sentiment report. So every other week we sit down with all the leadership team and we go over everything that we put out in the last 2 weeks, and we get to be very honest. So it's like a bunch of community, like former and active players who are just going, we kind of fucked up on this, we're doing really good on this thing. And it's a meeting where we get to be just honest with leadership of where they're misstepping, doing the right things. It's probably the most effective meeting we have out of the month. We have like 2 of them a month, and it's super useful.
I was just thinking, actually, just an immediate thought. That's, excuse me, that's not that common to find in a company that will allow you to speak freely about where they messed up and what could possibly be done to rectify it. So that's actually really good to notice that they allow that, and they're willing to accept the constructive feedback. And
it's not a meeting where we argue with them, but what I'm trying to get across is it's not a meeting where we're a bunch of yes men. We're very honest with them when we're like, this thing here, players are probably not going to like it. And then sometimes they'll go, well, we're going to do it this way. And we go, okay. And then a few months later, we go, they're really not happy with this thing still. And we go, okay, maybe we can adjust a little. I sometimes have this like analogy of that meeting, of CCP being this like big ship, like big wooden ship, and the community team is up in the crow's nest. And in that meeting, we get to yell down like, "Yo, there's a fucking iceberg right there. Please turn," because we can see these type of things coming. And very often the sails will move a little bit, and we'll go, "We just avoided that one." And it's a very, very good meeting, and leadership really appreciates it.
Yeah. At least it allows leadership to stay kind of at ground level as well with what's going on, what's actually going on, and not being told, like, as you say, like having a bunch of yes men saying, yeah, everything's fine.
No, nobody needs that shit. Like they need people who know their shit and tell them the truth.
Yeah, 100%.
And they appreciate it. They appreciate us for it. So, and I think you would also agree that in the last few years, Eve has been heading in a better direction than in the years previously.
Yes, I would say I would agree with that. I am going to admit that I am forever bitter about FozzieSoft, but I know a lot of people are bitter about FozzieSoft and it can't be changed. But that's just from
everything can be changed, but like that's you're still mad about something from 2014.
it's just I liked how things were.
Like SPUs and dropping a bunch of supers on and just glassing a whole region in a weekend.
Yeah, it's like well, when you say it like that, it's I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I mean, as someone that has like supers and stuff like that, I kind of wish there was more involvement or requirement to use those ships for Sov warfare. Like you couldn't, they would be a huge advantage in a Sov warfare, which they are, but unfortunately, as a lot of people know that might even be watching in the big groups and whatever, there isn't many reasons for these big supers and titans to come out to play. But that is a whole.
I would agree that they've been struggling quite a bit the last few years, for sure.
Yeah, but I think on the whole, the game is better in a lot of ways than it was 10 years ago. In my opinion, there are some things that could be better, but with Eve being such a huge, almost like a living organism, you change one thing, and you might sprout a leg out or somewhere else, and before you know it, you've got another big problem to deal with. It is a very I do not envy the team that do balancing. I don't.
Balancing the game is really tough, but it's also really fun when you get something across. So that's another thing that I didn't expect in our role as a community dev to have any input on those type. But the longer I've been at CCP, the more I feel like my input on these various things also is being taken on board. A lot of the balancing in the last. So we're very careful at CCP not to put anyone on, because we don't want to make like this guy's going to save Eve. Like it's always a team effort working together. And the same way that you and I are discussing like Eve, CCPers do the same at lunch. Like they're discussing things they hate about the game, things they love about the game.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my microphone cut out just a little bit then.
No problem.
No, your microphone just cut out for the last bit when you said CCP were discussing what they hate about the game. Just what was that last bit there? Your microphone cut out a second.
Oh, sorry. I'll talk more into the mic. What I'm trying to say is like CCPers are also Eve players who also discuss the game in a similar way as you do on Discord. During lunch, we'll discuss things about the game that we hate about it, things that we love about it, things that we'd love to change about it. And we're getting more and more like agency to get like input into balance changes, specifically from the community team. And I was trying to say that we try not to put people on a kind of pedestal for the community. Like you just called it FozzieSoft, right? That's what happens when you put people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, forever gets branded.
You don't want to brand someone to a change. But I also at the same time do want to say that like we have really good players in the last years that are getting to do the changes that they feel are healthy for them. CCP Castrol, for one, who is now a game designer. He's been doing a lot of balancing stuff, but he doesn't do it on his own. He gets a lot of input from myself, from Swift, from other people at CSM, from the community as a whole. And I feel like the game has been heading in a much healthier direction a few years.
Yeah, definitely.
And it feels like it's like on the right track to getting, there's still some big changes that I would see, which maybe I don't want to go into too much detail. But I feel like the game still has been getting healthier. But you are right when you say things like Supers and Titans, they feel a little off compared to how they felt. They felt really dominant in 20.
Yeah, I mean, when they
18.
were, I understand why. Obviously, they were to build one. You needed a bottleneck of materials because the proliferation was horrendous. I mean, the Imperium, prime example, the Imperium. The amount of Supers and Titans that delve was pumping out was insane. But there were also a very high amount of them dying back then because they were so replaceable. But I know what you mean.
Enough.
You can't not enough were dying. But that's where Bombers Bar were like they had like a full banquet to pick from on wherever they went. But again, it's that balancing. You've got
the balancing can be fun because we started the conversation like it is, but it's also really fun when you feel a really healthy. For example, in September we brought a Legion major update, and Marauders no longer can go into E.
There was a lot of cheering with that.
Yes, there definitely was, not just in the community, also internally.
Yeah.
Like we were like, fuck yeah, fuck the Varger, finally. Right? So getting healthier changes like that across, it feels really good when you feel 2 steps forward and 1 back. You feel like you're taking a good leap in the right direction. And I have confidence that we're going to continue doing that.
Good. I just want to put on the note that I am a Varga enjoyer, by the way.
Yeah.
I am one of those
I'm
guys.
sure a lot of your viewers are too, but fuck the Varga. I don't care.
Right, so where was it? So from your point of view as a long-time Eve enjoyer, what would your advice to people starting out and unsure what to do after the new player experience is completed?
Definitely get into a corp. Like 100% find a group, because you're not going to figure this game. It's just too much. This is like 48 games in a trench coat wielding a knife. Like you're just not going to figure certain things out on your own.
I mean,
and like if you're looking for a PvP group, I would go solo roam to like an area that you get fought by the locals. And then talk to them and go, hey, how did you kill me? What could I improve on?
Yeah.
And start building relationships with people.
Good way to do it.
Of course, if you're right out of the gate of just doing like the early player experience, you won't have the funds or knowledge to go and do those types. You need to find a way to make money. You need to specialize into something.
Yeah.
For me, that was exploration, because it was a way where I didn't want to just be on one grid mining or shooting a bunch of. I wanted to travel around, and I wanted to learn how to maneuver around being camped into. Find something that like don't go for the this is the best way to make money. Find the thing that you enjoy.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to actually continue making more money. You're going to make more money than the best money making way that someone on YouTube tells you.
Yeah, I think like I've never gone down the whole this is the only way to make money. This is the best way to make money. There are probably in excess of 30 ways to make money in EVE Online, and depending on how much you're willing to put into each activity, some will outdo others. But it's finding which one is you're happy to do for a couple hours to afford a PvP ship, for example. So
I think exploration is probably one of the best ways to do that, especially because a new player just has one account and wants to do something with that, wants to learn and interact with people coming in and out of the system, and it's very like lucrative.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's one of those activities that isn't like multi-boxable really. So you are just competing on kind of an equal footing, even in just frigate. Like you can just get to the site before the other guy does.
Yeah, yeah.
And hack it all, and you can make a bank doing some like decent seasoned runs like that for sure.
100%. I mean, exploration is a bit of a. It's a lot of people just don't look down on it a little bit, but obviously, I think you probably know the Mad Rambo. He does very well every month.
Oh yeah,
with exploration, like talking more than a lot of people I know that do active, really active PvE.
Yes,
and it's just
with multiple accounts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're really wanting to go into it, because also exploration, it's not exactly insanely skill intensive either. It is a very low entry level into it, and it's I would probably say it's one of the highest paying, lowest entry level as activity out there.
100%.
But yeah,
I had a friend who recently, a year or a half ago, he came and he was like, "Okay, Bjorn, I'm gonna finally try Eve with you." And I was like, "Awesome, let's go roaming." And I put him in a flycatcher to go like tackle, because I wanted to fly something that felt impactful.
Yeah.
So when I tell him to bubble, he's like, "Whoa, there's this huge bubble," and just killing things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then I told him, to make money, this is what you're gonna fly, and you're gonna go do. Here's a video on how to scan. Good luck. And I wouldn't hold his hand too much. But then before I knew, he was doing like ghost sites and shit that I don't even know how to do. And I was doing it during Crimson Harvest, I think, a year, or was it 2 years? And he was just making like insane money. I was like,
oh yeah, you can. You really can.
He just came back with another 200 mil, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Those ghost sites are spicy. Like some of them can be really. I think the most I pulled out of one can was 1.2 billion out of a can. It is insane.
That's actually nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. Right, so this is more onto the aspect, the actual game itself, more from your point of view. What do you think, what kind of change do you think could positively contribute towards balancing out projection in the game? Projection of power, sorry.
Projection is a really tough one to try and fix, so to speak. A lot of people think that just adding space aids onto the jumps would be a fix. You couldn't chain jump. Fatigue, I should call it.
It's fine. That's what everyone calls it.
Yeah. But that would like fuck with other things. Like if you're in your area, you're running in one, doing exploration, like I'm saying, and and then a ping comes out, you got to go home because you got to go. But you've accumulated a bunch of space aids, a bunch of fatigue. Then suddenly you can't. Like that's really hard to see, to deal with people that have varying fatigue systems. And there's all kinds of different ways where you could try to limit it so that only, like, if you take ansiblexes, for example, off ACLs, I'm pretty sure that
from. Darkshine's mentioned the same thing.
Yeah, but you can't just do that, because if you just do that, then what happens to the smaller groups? Like, for example, with Imperium, is Bastion not going to use the Goon jump bridges?
Well, that's it.
How is that going to do? You then conglomerate everyone into, and like that's not healthy.
Well, that's what would happen realistically, because if you've got like Shadow Ultimatum, you've got Sigma Ground Set. I wouldn't say they're small, but smaller groups, they'd end up all just piling into Goon Swarm,
which is also not healthy.
No.
Like I enjoyed an Eve where there was a bunch of smaller groups, but like projection isn't just ansiblexes. It's wormhole projection. It's how far you can, like, adding conduits to carriers. That's an extra bit of projection. So it's a really tough thing to balance, because I think carrier conduits are fantastic, but I hate ansiblexes with a passion. So like there's this different thing where, like, I think certain ways of projecting is really healthy, whereas other ones don't feel healthy. Like
Yeah.
I think bringing a bunch of bringing a few ships with a conduit carrier, a jump or two into someone's region doesn't feel as oppressive as like 250-man battleship fleets going across 3-4
Yeah,
regions.
yeah.
Like that, it just feels different level of oppressiveness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, thousands of
Um,
people traveling across regions in minutes doesn't mean
yeah,
it means that that map, that big, huge map that we've got, is actually realistically a lot smaller than it
yes.
realistically is. Yeah, I don't.
That's why it was really hard to watch things like Zarzak had implement
Oh
that
God,
backwards, isn't it?
I liked the idea of it, but the
Yeah.
whole I saw it and I just facepalmed when I saw like how quickly you can get from
Yeah.
all corners. I was like, no, that's not going to help. I mean, I did enjoy watching the saber bubbles and dragging the fleets off into the void. Just entire fleets get deleted.
A couple of big fleets got caught that way. A couple of
I
nightmare
did
fleets,
enjoy
right?
watching that, but
But that also felt like, I don't know. I want Eve to be a place where smaller groups don't feel as trodden on by a
Yeah.
group that lives 4 regions away, because then they're going to get cocky enough to use some bigger toys and do things.
yeah,
I think everyone would benefit from that. If your neighbor 3 regions away, because he is still your neighbor,
yeah,
if you are oppressing him from doing things from your couch and you haven't even done anything, that's not healthy. That's
No.
like you are without even undocking, they go, we can't drop dreads here because if we get caught, these guys are gonna literally be here in 8 minutes.
yeah.
That's really not a healthy state to be in.
No, it's definitely not.
So something has to be done about them more. In
But as you say,
I
it is
think-
probably one of the hardest things to do out of making new content,
Yes.
you know, redoing graphics, you know, new soft
Thankfully,
mechanics.
though, we did get some wins in the last balance update to them. We did, whether people like it or not, being able to bubble people and stop them going through. That does mean, especially from someone who was in pizza, you bet your ass if we were doing things to one group, we would have bubble sabers on it.
Yeah.
Just to slow down advancing groups.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's one
So
thing
you
I've
can
always wondered.
slow people down at least.
Yeah, good old waterboarding fleets and whatnot.
Yeah, we were real fucking good at that shit.
One thing I was going to ask about is like a lot of times I've been on fleets and like you see like interdictors on gates and they bubble up and then jump through and you're like,
Yep.
like because if I remember correctly, I may be completely wrong here, but if you're in a bubble and you hit warp, shouldn't that apply aggression timer to that interdictor because that
It did once.
It did once. That's where I've got it from. That I was like, I'm sure that it used to be a thing, but ever since then I'm like, I just wish it would.
It's a weird balancing act of you need sabers and bubblers to catch fleets and for the fight to even start, because your FC doesn't want to jump into that other group already sitting at 100 and they're all formed up.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to jump into that shit. We're going to be just sitting ducks for the first 15 seconds of the fight. Lose 3 Bazzies and our Lynx ship.
Yeah.
And so you need ways to be able to interdict and stop people for the fight. Although I do agree that some people, and I accept the people's point of view that think sabers and bubblers and too good at just catching entire fleets and waterboarding them. But I still think it's a necessary thing to catch people. Like, if you don't want it, go to Losec.
Yeah. Oh yeah. True. Like one thing that I don't think should be a thing, but this is my opinion, and is like remaining tethered when you're launching a bubble.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
Don't
get me started on Citadels, my friend. I have a big gripe with Citadels. I think station games were hella fun.
Yeah, they were. They were more fun when there was no tether.
Well, there was no tether at all because
Yeah.
it was just you knew where they would undock from on the structure, because you could play station games, but if they undocked a bunch, you knew exactly come out of the station itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Or if you undocked at a
Sure,
kick-out
it had-
station and saw a fleet, you knew you were dead.
yes,
To a degree.
it has it. You know, we also have to remember we have these like.
Oh, sorry, my microphone cut out again then, sorry.
Oh, my mic keeps cutting out. Sorry about that.
It's alright. Just
I was just saying-
every so often it just goes quiet for a few seconds.
Okay, I'll make sure I talk into it. I keep like talking into the sky. I was saying we all have these like rose-tinted glasses of an era of the game that we've and things have been added to the game and changed that wouldn't really vibe with the thing that we loved back then. Like,
Yeah.
it's always easy to like everyone remembers the really fun parts of having Titans everywhere, like you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
But it also kind of sucked that all subcap fleets were kind of that every Titan was just a haw platform that just did everything. And I remember being in a fight where people were telling everyone to just dock up all the subcaps, because all we wanted is more Titans on that grid. We wouldn't overload the node. And the Titans were just going to take care of everything. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, that was
same
a bit
thing
too,
for
they were too powerful then. I remember that.
yeah, same thing for like this era of living in stations. Like, it is really handy that you can dock in every system, but it's also not healthy. Like, I remember just to go to the closest station you lived in.
Mm-hmm.
But that Eve is kind of gone. Like, that would feel ridiculous in today's Eve. That the closest place you can dock is 4 or 5 jumps away. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like that to me personally, my peak nullsec era was when you had to deploy a station egg.
Yep.
And you had to then feed it materials, and then it would slowly have to anchor, and you had to protect it for 24 hours.
When I was telling you about my
risk then.
When I was telling you about my history in Eve, I remember being in 2013 in JP5 in Delve, and I was on grid when that station egg was popped out, and we were thing, and I was like, dude, what is this thing? Like, guy just pooped out an egg. What does it do? He's like, oh, it's gonna be a station, and I was like, neat.
What? That's going to be a station? Yeah, exactly my thought. Exactly my thought. And it's weird how it's gone full circle, because I remember guarding that station egg in an alpha fleet, a Maelstrom alpha fleet, and now we're undocking alpha Maelstroms again. It's like, okay, gone full circle.
Yeah. But like, back to like tethering and stuff, I think it's healthy when it comes to bridging something off a Titan. Like, I feel like a Titan should be tethered and be able to bridge. It shouldn't have to live in a post like it used to. But it's also not healthy that you can have 400 Titans in that one strike.
Yeah.
And it's also,
you see the size of it compared to the keep star, you're like, really? Like a clown car of Titans getting out.
And the biggest gripe I have with tether in general is that stations are the place where you have evidence. And it used to be the place that you would go and you would bubble the undock, and they would have to undock and deal with you.
Yeah.
Or you were just going to keep killing people who were going about their daily business. And right now, you can't go to any Citadel as like small or solo. You're just going to get owned by the Citadel itself.
Yeah,
yeah. And like you mentioned, being able to bubble while tethered and breaking your tether doesn't feel balanced. Being able to maneuver around and decide, okay, we're gonna, for big fleets, it can be very helpful, but it also doesn't feel too healthy. I kind of wish.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wish Citadels didn't have weapons unless they were being attacked, for example. I wish that you would have to wait for like, I don't know, 10% or 5% of the shield to be gone for the weaponry to be.
Yeah.
So that you can mess around on Citadel. But when it comes to tethering, it's a bigger subject because it incorporates capitals and all kinds of other things there too. So I don't want to be one of these guys who goes, oh, tether should go away. it definitely shouldn't. Like, you should be able to bridge off
Yeah, but
an Astra Hoos if you wanted to in your Titan. Like,
yeah,
you can get bumped to the fuck off. However,
well,
so
I think
yeah.
tethers. It's like any act of aggression or targeting someone detethers you. You are then able to be scrammed, pointed, targeted, destroyed. But for some reason, launching an aggressive interdiction bubble does not class as detethering or an aggressive act, which is weird, in my opinion. But I think we could go on this.
I have to agree with you.
So this is kind of this next one is something that quite a few people I've spoken to about have always, like, we've joked and, or, you know, asked about it and thought, oh, it'd be great if they did. And actually, believe it or not, I know Pando likes this as well. So what?
It's probably going to be a shit idea then. Kidding. Pando's a good friend of mine. Don't worry.
What are the odds of getting the old pie chart back from the banned accounts and what alliances they were that had the most banned accounts from? Do you remember that on the patch notes? There's a pie chart and it said this alliance.
That's the pie chart of shame.
Yeah, the pie chart of shame. I'd like
that
to
isn't
see
the
that
one
again.
I can really answer.
No, but I'd like to see that again. It was. Yeah. I think it was a good metric to see what area is, because it's also, if you think about it as well, it's also handy because you're like, okay, so for example, I don't know, Goons have got 25% banned accounts. So realistically thinking, okay, so they've got a lot of people that are out in space. You know, it may be automation, it may be illegal, but people to hunt out in space. Whether it's an AFK Ishtar or whether it's an automated Ishtar, there's still people out there to hunt. So it's kind of a good intel tool as well.
For people hunt real players and that there were less of, like, I wouldn't want you to hunt based off a pie chart of shame.
No, but it's like a bit of an indicator on, and it also, I think it's a good representation of how much the leadership is focusing on their alliance and keeping everything in check, and, you know, actually monitoring what's happening down on the lower end, which can signal how effective an alliance is. If it's
that just gets harder and harder the bigger your group, though. Like,
yeah. Oh, I couldn't imagine.
In your example, if yeah, if
huge.
In your example, Imperium had, you know, 25%. Is that because you're the bad guys, or is it because you just have a shitload of fucking people, and it's just really hard to manage that as like a leader of an empire? Like, it's, I don't know if the pie chart of shame brought anything good except like finger pointing at, like, oh, you guys are worse than us. It's kind of putting people down.
I can agree. I can see that, where, you know, like, for example, we'll just use Goons again because it's easy to blame Goons for stuff. So if Goons had 20-25% of bots banned accounts that were bots or RMT involved in a month, yes, everyone likes to enjoy pointing and laughing, but I can understand that the people that have no idea about any of that will be like, why is everyone pointing and laughing at us, calling us bots? And then they'll be like, okay. And then it might, you know, make them feel bad about being associated with that group. So I can see both sides, but for me, from my side, I'd just like to see every so often, just like any annual pie chart of shame would be nice.
Well, we did so for GM week in the past, they used to teleport in a bunch of like bot supers, which of course aren't a thing anymore, right?
No.
But this year, I don't know. Did you see what they did this year?
Yeah, I was at the one that was about 8 or 9 jumps from Jita.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, they put a bunch of like just stuff from accounts that have been banned for exactly what you were talking about into citadels in high sec, and then made them go about them. So like cans spewed up everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
And I guess it, you know, if you knew exactly what each can make your pie chart, but you're never going to open all the cans and get all the goodies, right? But it was a pretty cool event. I thought it was.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like some people, got a lot of money and assets out of those.
Nice.
But I saw all I kept seeing was rookie ships, and I was like, great. Every
There was
can
a
I check
bunch of
it-
shit cans, but there's also a bunch of really good ones.
Yeah.
I love those grids. I wish we had more of those.
Oh god,
I've only
yeah.
been on those like exploded Citadel, like spewed cans everywhere grids. I've only been on them.
Oh, there was one that we did when we were in when after the World War B, and I think we were attacking Catch. It might have been Catch. It was a faction Fortizar. Good God. When that destroyed, no, it was it Fortizar or was it a Keepstar? It was one of the two, and it was a staging Citadel. No, it was a Keepstar. It was a Keepstar. We bought it from Test Alliance or someone like that, and then we let it go abandoned, and then we blew it up.
Classic.
Honestly, we were pulling supers and jump freighters out of this thing.
Yeah.
It was insane. I was just like, okay, more loot pinatas is a good thing.
Speaking of which, do you feel that Citadels should drop something when they blow up? Just normal Citadels.
I think they should, personally. I don't feel like... I agree there should be asset safety to a degree, but I don't think nullsec should have no asset safety like wormholes. I think there should be, say, like a 20% of whatever in each individual person's hangar. 10 to 15%.
I think 20% is pretty high.
Yeah.
What if like...
Or
what if
even
only
like
5%?
Oh.
Like if I took your account now and deleted 5, would you even notice?
5% of my stuff?
Yeah.
It depends what
5% of your ammo, 5% of your Titans, like different thing, right? Like if that had a chance to drop, you'd be like, what the fuck? But like if
it would make
I
sure
feel like the
I'm going
reward
Go on.
of killing a a Citadel doesn't feel there isn't enough draw to it currently.
100% there is not enough. Like if I was talking to a friend of mine on comms a while ago, and I was saying there is no real reason to go hunting someone else's citadels apart from getting the core, which always drops. But quite often your fleet very quickly supersedes the value of that core. So at the end of the day, it's like. So I personally think, like, if you said to not completely disable asset safety, as my mate was saying, because I think, I think that would be a bit crazy. But if you were to say, right, okay, in every citadel, regardless of where it is, 5% of what's in each person's hangar. So if it's a staging Keepstar, 5% of everyone that has stuff in there has a chance to drop. I personally think there would be a lot more structures dying.
I think people would also have more fun killing them.
Yeah,
and I think people would also be more okay with risking their own. Like I have a shit ton of stuff in Citadels now. I'm in Initiative.
Yeah.
And I have like not a dumb amount of things, but I have like a decent amount of stuff up in.
Yeah.
I have way more stuff in Jeddah because I lived there for the 7 years streaming. However, I would be very okay with taking those chances if I got to go onto these grids that like I killed a fort and boom, all these fucking cans are everywhere.
100%.
Just chaos for the next hour.
If an alliance is forward operating base, like a Fortizar, forward operating Fortizar was to get attacked, there would be a much bigger incentive to try and defend it if they know how much.
Kill it.
Because if there was potential for tens or even hundreds of billions of stuff to drop, it's basically like waving red rag to a bull, isn't it? Like, and an alliance would have to defend it then, and in my opinion, generate more fights. Because like if goons put a Fortizar or hoarded it, like they put a Fortizar in cache, it was a Fortizar. They just let it die. It's nothing, But if there's more stuff that can drop from them, like out of hangars, I think that would be quite a good conflict driver, personally.
I think so too. I really hope that we can get to touch Citadels at some point, because we started this conversation with Tether, and I was very honest about how much I don't like certain parts of Citadels.
I think there are bonuses to them. There's definitely bonuses to them.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be more risk involved with them.
I think we could do with some iteration.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. Right, and lastly then, This is probably one of the most important questions actually of the whole interview. What's your favorite restaurant in Reykjavik?
Ooh. So it's going to be a weird one. It's called Bantai. It's a Thai place.
I'm just googling it
Thai
now.
food.
BAN.
You do not want to Google this because it has the worst
Oh, as the worst what? Sorry.
The worst website known to man. I think it looks like
okay.
something from like early 2000s.
Oh right, okay.
So this is the best Thai food I've eaten in my life. It's a place that I always go with my friends when I.
Yeah.
However, you have to show up at 6 o'clock, or you're gonna spend like 4 hours getting service. So.
Oh shit.
If you get there at 6 o'clock, you're gonna have the best meal and the best time. If you get there at like 8, good fucking luck. That's your entire evening.
Okay, so. follow-up question. Where is it?
It's close to the Hlemmur place. Are you thinking of going?
Well, when I'm next year when I'm in FanFest, I am. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because I
You should 100% check it out. I often see CCP. They know it's a good.
Yeah, I ended up having breakfast near enough every day at the laundromat on the strip.
There's way other places you go to.
Yeah, it was just the first one, but the hungover state. I just needed food, and it was there. But there's a few really good restaurants, and there was that one I saw CCP Jotun at it. It's like a food court. There's loads of different.
That's actually
places.
Yeah, it's close to the Bantai place actually.
Oh, is it? Ooh, right.
Yeah, it's kind of just across the road in a little bit. It's if I'm thinking of the same food court, I'm probably the food court which has all the buses stopping. It's called Hlemmur.
That's it. Yeah. I couldn't pronounce it.
So it's very
life,
close.
Yeah.
HLEMMUR.
Yeah.
Hlemmur.
Yeah, definitely could not.
It's a good space.
Yeah,
I like it.
So I think a few of us have already got everything sorted for FanFest next year, so I'm really looking forward to it. I actually enjoyed it this year, although
Good.
I'm glad it didn't happen. But the photographer that was going around the main hall, I was so hungover in the morning, and I was like, I was leaning on the thing, the little banister in front of me, like with my head on there, and I woke up and the camera was in my face. I was like, oh god.
Oh no.
I'm glad that didn't ever come to light. My mate got a picture, but thank God for that. Thank God that never came to light.
I'm sure he's got more class than to post that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It was a really good event. I'd highly recommend going to FanFest for everyone.
I'm glad to hear it.
Everyone out there that hasn't been yet, because it was my first year there last year.
Oh.
This year, sorry. It was my first year, so I actually booked to go when it was last in Iceland before that, but then it got cancelled because of COVID, and I was pissed.
FanFest is like one of the most fun times a year. It's so much work, but it's so worth it.
Oh, it is fun.
Now that we've added things like the FanFest land to it as
yeah,
staple that we want to do every time because it's so much fun. You could not imagine how fun it is to be in a room of like 60 Eve nerds all in the same room yelling at each other about fleet shit. Like it's a blast. It's a cool experience.
It is. Right, so first of all, I do want to say a huge thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you've been working, to do this in the afters, but I know
thank you for having me on. Like I really enjoyed talking. Eve.
It's nice just to sit and talk about Eve. Like obviously we have different opinions on certain things, but just I think voicing those opinions and actually talking about them and getting multiple opinions on everything.
Vargar is dead. You just have to accept it. No,
it's not. I'm going to find a way to reve it. I don't care how.
It's really not dead. It's actually really good still. It's just not oppressing people in ESSs.
Unless I park outside the ESS and bubble the gate and.
Exactly.
No,
you just can't do it in an XLASB fit because that's not.
I missed my triple ancillary shield booster fit.
The cap stable flux coil fit is still disgusting.
Oh yeah, they are broken.
Yeah, it's still a really fucking good ship.
You have a small abyssal rolled cap battery in there for your newt resistance, and you're golden.
Yep. It's disgusting.
But I could sit here and talk to Eve with you all night. But I've obviously come to the end of the interview, and I do appreciate you doing this for me. It was really, really, really good to hear from you, to get your views and your opinions on stuff, and also, you know, for people to hear about a bit about your background, like your streaming days and what that you got up to, and how a lot of stuff and PvP fits today are still heavily influenced by your streams, which actually it's got to be a cool feeling. It's got to be a cool feeling.
It's a very fun feeling to get to affect our little, well, big ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you very much for having me on. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And it was fun going over like the history. I haven't thought or talked about my streaming stuff for quite a while, so I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I've enjoyed listening to it. It's really, really nice to hear about it all. So any closing comments for the viewers?
Just undock. I don't know.
Yeah, just get out and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that, Bjorn. Really appreciated. I'll be editing this tomorrow and uploading it. So I'll drop it. I'll ping you when it's out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, pal. You take care.
Bye.